how to come up with what do you say, literature survey also. So how to go in that direction, something like this. So as of now, we are going to talk about research methodology and thesis construction, correlating with the modern day versus Tantra Yukti, what our ancestors used to do, which will help in two ways. So we'll try to understand that for the session. Introduction. We'll try to understand Indian knowledge system. I hope you already have come across the definition of it. So India, so Indian is a space. So it's right from Kashmir to Kanyakumari and far off from Afghanistan to the Burma, Myanmar, or something like that. So that's the area what Indian subcontinent was specified. Later, geopolitical issues were there, and we are left out with this piece of land right now, and we are the proud nation now. Okay, so coming back to this, trying to understand knowledge, it's primarily a form of wisdom what aspirants seek. Okay, so usually is gained by life situations, experience, and problems. That's the reason the knowledge varies place to place. Now, that is what we call it as Desha Kala Paristiti also. So, when you come across Desha Kala Paristiti, the whole situation will change, the experience and the knowledge will change. That's how the areas have their own experiences, cultures, and the knowledge expands in different areas as per its geographical conditions, actually. Next is also obtained by observation, experimentation. All our ancestors have done this. They have done experimentations also. The major problem what we are right now facing with the knowledge is there are two categories. One is literary, which is already there in printed form, written manuscript forms. The other one is oral traditions, which had to be documented, and that's a huge task for the present generation as per IKS and NEP and all. So we'll see that oral traditions actually get categorized as traditional skills and knowledges, crafts and knowledges. Okay, that is a different issue. Now we'll talk about literary information, the knowledge what we have, and how to access it as per the methodology, research methodology, or the better word is as per Tantra Yukti. So that is a point. Okay, next. Yeah, there is some information to add on as of with my experience and so. This I have to give this example in two ways. One is in 1905, 1902 and 5, in that period, one of the Tanjore Pandit had a huge heap of manuscripts, and naturally he has handed over to Mysore Oriental Library, because we have a session at Mysore, and I have to emphasize the pride of Mysore Oriental Library here. And this is a history. It's a big history actually. Now, in that pile of manuscripts, Professor Dr. Shama Shastriji, who is there on the screen right now, his picture, he could identify the Arthashastra discovered over there. And to your astonishment, let me tell you, that was not in Sanskrit. Actually, it was in Sanskrit, but written in Telugu Lipi, Telugu literature. And he then edited it, published it in Sanskrit edition, and translated it in English, and so on and so forth. Now, the major issue what we are facing here is there is huge pile of manuscripts available from the archaeological point of view, and it's so necessary that hardly 5% of the manuscripts have got translated into modern day literature style, maybe Sanskrit or Telugu or Kannada or something like this. So that is a huge task what we generation are going to take care. So that's how the importance of manuscripts comes into picture. There is some fascinating point to add on to you. So one of a person called Master Tippaya in 1905, 1902 and 5, he was a Telugu Pandit, and he was one of the associate of Dr. Shama Shastri ji in this work what he has done for Arthashastra, discovering the Arthashastra. And that Mr. Master Tippaya is my great grandfather, maternal great grandfather. That is another one fascinating and happy news to share it with you people. I do have very old books and some scribblings of my great grandfather. I'm happy. I'm indirectly or far off connected to Shama Shastri ji and Arthashastra and Mysore Oriental Library actually. So that is one pride thing for me. Okay, all these are one part of it. Now think Arthashastra is a huge 15 books, so many adhikaranas, chapters, and everything is there. And suppose say you want to discuss about or learn about administration. So naturally, you need one procedure. As in case in modern day research methodology, what you do? So you actually start with an idea, you have a title, then you have literature survey, and for that literature survey, you have keywords. So that's how you go. So that is where Tantra Yukti, the procedure of Tantra Yukti, will help us to access any scientific and the manuscripts of our ancient India, of our archaeological manuscripts, and then we can come up with all the old ideas what our ancestors have given, which is far off forward or far off highly advanced for that age and even now, because Arthashastra, closely 90% of Arthashastra is matching to the present day context also. And that Arthashastra is, I'm sure it is more than 2000, 2500 year old, because I think Chanukya was closely in 250 BC, something like this. So there are some dates issues, but still closer to 2000 and more odd numbers of years. Even Arthashastra, which was followed by Maurya Empire, is deemed to be fit up to 80 to 90% for the present day also. That is how the importance of our ancestors' knowledge is so. And Tantra Yukti will help us to understand this. Okay, so there's something more to add on. Just to give an example of Arthashastra, correlating to the present day modern application. Now, there is one major chapter number one, the major statement. He says Swami, Amatya, Janapada, Durga, Kosha, Danda, and Mitra. So these seven basic fundamental structure for a kingdom. That is what he says. But if you correlate with the modern day, Swami is a king. So if you take an example of, I hope you all are professors and teachers in teaching faculty in reputed colleges. So naturally, now we'll correlate with the college examples. So Swami, there translation is king, correct. But if you correlate with the college, principal is the top order. Then Amatya, ministers. So naturally, if you now correlate with the college, HODs are the Amatyas, ministers kind of thing. Janapada is your students of the whole college. Durga is a fort, that is a construction, the infrastructure, the boundaries and everything. Kosha, treasury, obviously financial matters are there. Danda, army, if you closely understand, we teachers are the army. Okay, so we are the army there. Teachers are the army there. Then Mitra allies. So you all have MOUs with the industry or any research center, consultation, placements, so all that coming under Mitra. See, the whole structure what he has explained for Maurya Empire, and he has created such a strong structure for administration, which is actually getting correlated with the college. That's an example I'm trying to give you, but closely observe, it is applicable everywhere. You take any corporate office, you take any government office, you will find the same structure which is applicable since then, even now. Okay. Linguistics, there is another example which I've come across. I hope you would have got this example already. When I was actually trying to scroll down to many such examples, so Tantra Yukti helped me to go in that particular direction, and I was very much fascinated to know how linguistics came into picture. And this are the examples. So our age-old ancestors and scientists, what we have to say them, they were very much clear with anatomy point of view. So it's now getting connected to Ayurveda. That is one part of it. But coming to Ayurveda to linguistics. So now you'll see there is so much of information about your body anatomy, the mouth especially. So you have tongue, cavity, tips, teeth and lips and so on and so forth. So vibratory folds, vocal folds are there. Now, that is the main anatomical factor which helped us to create different vibrations. The major primordial vibration, what we see in the our scriptures or the our scripts is Om. So you have A, U, and M. So when I try to understand, the vibrations are varying. The vibration is coming from stomach. U is coming from between the Vishuddhi throat and heart, between somewhere there, the vibration is been experienced there, and vibration is coming, is experienced here. So these are the three different variations of vibrations, and all the variations are of different frequency numbers. So it starts from the bottom to top. So the things are like this. So now they used this primordial sound Om, and they came up with swaras. So all that, if you observe, the tongue is not moving, only the cavity is moving. And if you continue with the consonants of it, kaka, gana, chacha, jajana, so you'll see the tongue is touching those particular points when you start spelling out these letters. So consonants, rather to say. So kaka, gagana, the red line which shows there. Okay, so something like this. So finally, finally, you're able to see the whole vibration technology is been applied. So where is Ayurveda, anatomy, where is vibration? So you'll see physics, where is modulation, where is frequency? Everything is combined together, and now we have a language. So that's how the very basic foundation I'm trying to tell you, the way I gone through to understand this. So of course, there are many resource people and mentors who gave me some more additional information. Maybe that is not deemed to be fit at this point of time. But still, I know I have to make you understand I could evolve till here only because of the way Tantra Yukti was formed and the way I went reverse to understand this. So that is one another example, the importance and advantage of Tantra Yukti and the way we can go back to it. Astronomy, there is another example for this. All my focus giving you so many introductory examples is because I could evolve to those answers only because of Tantra Yukti. That is my point. So we'll just continue with the examples at this point of time. Okay, you all know, I hope you can answer this. What are the names and orders of weekdays? I hope you know this. Good, but there is a huge question for you. Can anyone answer this? You can unmute yourself, try to answer. Let me see. Can anyone answer this? Why is that names and that orders of weekdays? Can anyone answer me?
They are based on the names of the planets, sun,
Correct.
firstly.
Oh, the why is that names? Correct. You gave the answer. Half answer is fine based on planets. And that order? Okay,
ಸೂರ್ಯ
so yeah.
ನವಗ್ರಹದ ಅಧಿಪತಿ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ
Hmm.
ಸೂರ್ಯ ಸನ್ನಿಂದ ಶುರುವಾಗತ್ತೆ.
Okay, then why moon? Next day is Monday. Why moon? After Monday,
ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ
Tuesday. Sorry.
ಸನ್ ಮೂನ್ಗೂ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್
Okay.
ಪ್ರಿಯಾರಿಟಿ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ.
Okay. Sorry. Then why Tuesday? I'll ask all the questions there. All 7 questions will come. Why Tuesday after Monday? Yeah, ma'am. So that question prevails until you give a correct answer. So the fact is, unfortunately, it is not you alone. Because I started understanding, learning astrology. I am a certified medical astrologer from Sanskriti University, Mathura. And that is the other part of it. That is some academic point of view. I was very much interested. But when I started learning, my first question prevailed, why that order only? Long back, since right from your education to my education, whoever the generation it may be, everyone is being forced to by heart it and keep the order memorized just by force. Correct? I hope you all agree with me. That's a real fact. We don't know the real reason, but Indian knowledge system can give the reason why that weekdays, the why that order of the weekdays. So this is a reason. Now let us quickly understand. We all know there is a transit period for each planets. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ 1.5 year, 2.5 years ಸ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಮೂರು ಮನೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ದಾಟಿದ ಸಾಡೆ ಸಾತಿ ಅಂತಾರೆ 7.5 years ಅಂತಾರೆ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಯು ನೋ ವೈ ಇಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ takes 2.5 years to move from one house to other house. Maybe say if we start about Mesha, so if Saturn is there, if you have to move, then he'll be there for 2.5 years, and then we'll move to the next house. That's how all the planets has its own transitory situation. People also told me planets ಹೆಸರು ಮೇಲಿದೆ ಅಂತ. Why Rahu Ketu is not there is because Rahu Ketu is a shadow planets. This is another example, another quick understanding. So North Pole shadow is Rahu, South Pole shadow is Ketu. Okay, coming back to this, the order we got to learn today. Now let me quickly complete the information. Transit periods I have noted down. So all these are the transit periods of the planets which it takes to move from one house to other house. So if you take it is 360 degrees, one house to other house, it means 30 degrees. To move from one house to other house, that is 30 degrees. They take so many days to move. Now, because ma'am already told sun is the Adipati, so we'll start from the sun. Let us consider this is Sunday. And we all know we have 24 hours, 24 horas. It's actually horas. And finally, it became hours because of English invasion. Okay, let it be. Now, sun is the day. So let us say this is the first day is Sunday. And naturally, the first hour of the Sunday at the time of sunrise is Ravi Hora. Okay, so let us consider this way. Now, from Ravi Hora, so this is Ravi. So Ravi Hora is the first Hora. Now we'll start the counting. Okay, 24 hours. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 24th hour is over of Sunday. This is the Sunday I considered for the day. Now 25th hour is the next first hour of the next day. And 24th hour was on Sunday was Saturday. So 25th hour is the first hour of next day, which is falling on moon. Okay. So that's the reason after Sunday, Monday is going to come. Now we'll continue with the second example and I'll stop because I have something more to present. So from Monday, if you continue 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So 24 hours is over. Now next day's first hour is Mars Hora. So now you know why Tuesday comes after Monday. Now, if you start doing it, all this exercise, you will know. You can take a screenshot or possibly you can ask TTC to get you some PPTs for like this from us. So you will get this information. So naturally, now you know how exactly the order of the weeks are. It's all about Indian astronomy, which we gave world a huge calendar to work down. So we were already so much advanced. Tantra Yukti helped me to come up with this answer again. So unfortunately, we are still being taught with a force or with repetition of memorizing roughly without knowing any reason for why Monday comes after Sunday. I hope now you got this. So this is one basic example of astrology and astronomy to make you understand Tantra Yukti. Okay. So we have given calendar, eclipse mode cycles also. So we all know, we already know that when eclipses comes into picture. And there is something more to add on. Maybe I'll ask you one basic question at this point of time. Recently, for more than 5 to 10 years, you would have come across so many different solar and lunar eclipses. And can anyone tell me what kind of eclipse was it? If I have to tell you in our general local languages, Kannada or Telugu. So Rahu Grasta Surya Grahana, Rahu Grasta Chandra Grahana, that was the statement. If you have heard of any astrology guru, he would have told you this way: Rahu Grasta Chandra Grahana, Rahu Grasta Surya Grahana. Do you know why? Very simple. When I was trying to figure out this answer to this question, I came across Surya Siddhanta. Again, it's written by Mayasur. Okay, Mayasur is the father-in-law of Ravana and Paramabhakta of Shiva, Shiva and Surya also. So he took the lessons from Surya and he has written Surya Siddhanta. That's the whole story of that Purana, Siddhanta. Now there, I try to scroll down why it happens. So it seems that in Kali Yuga, there is the tilt of the earth is in some particular angle, maybe say around 223 and odd, 23.4 degrees. So why the tilt comes, as naturally we hardly know two movements of earth. One is the rotational at one axis. The other one is surrounding, taking a huge rotation around the sun. Okay, these are two. The third one is, it is same like a spin top where it will be rotating like this. Spin top doesn't stand and rotate at one point. It will be like changing its axis to balance itself and come to the heart and one single point. So that is the third axis of degree of freedom for the earth, which is moving around sun. So now the earth is tilted, this is the sun, and the earth is tilted this way and it is rotating. So naturally the top part, the north part is exposed more, and that's the reason the north part of the shadow is the Rahu. That's why whenever we have eclipses, we say Rahu Grasta Grahana. So that's how the point is. I hope now you got another answer for this. But yes, Tantra Yukti, that is the main thing which helped me go back to that answers. Metrology, there are few informations for zinc metallurgy from Rasaratna Samuchaya. And the explanation goes like this. So I'll just quickly run through these information because this is not a metallurgical session, it's a Tantra Yukti session. But I'll just make you quickly understand. Zinc metal was the very first extraction. We gave zinc metallurgy extraction of metals to the world. So Indians were very much proficient in this long back since the time immemorial. So we have all the information available. So again, metallurgical informations from Rasaratnakara Samuchaya. So all these we could scroll back to identifying Yashadha Dhatu. So that is where we could go back using. Now here we are talking about Yashada as a key word, and we went back to that information. That's how the things went further. So this is the left side. You have Zawar excavations, which showcases the distillation process, downward distillation process. So right side, there is a graphical representation of the information, what we got it from the text. Okay, so that's how we were doing. Even now, we are the highest producers of zinc, and we taught the world how to produce zinc. So yeah, Chola dynasty, I've gave you this example already with respect to Madhu Uchishta Vidhanam. Why I'm encompassing again here is, of course, there's lot of intricate analysis with respect to the metals through casting here. Usually there will be no distortion of metal during solidification, or there will be no residual stresses which may yield for failure. So that is all being taken care of through Madhu Uchishta Vidhanam. So nowadays we are trying to see foundry and forging technology with a different pretext, but back then they were already knowing how the residual stresses can be reduced, which can be the whole crystal structure can be distributed equally. That's how that casting technique came into picture. For your astonishment, let me tell you, yeah, this is a pictorial information of lost wax casting method. This is the way we nowadays have come across to understand how it was functioning. So this is some information, but for your astonishment, this is another example. This is major example what I want to give you. Okay, so this is one of a brooch in 22 karat gold, what we did at my facility in Ballari. Okay, my facility means my friend's facility. So, okay, so, so what, it's a huge element. It's around 16 to 18 diameter, diameter. Sorry, I'm mistaken. Sorry. It's around 2.5 inch diameter, and 24 karat gold. Now, this product, what you are seeing right now on the screen, is made out of lost wax casting method. Now, the technique is older. It has been achieved. All the finishing process is not necessary. It can give you direct outcome product. But what we did is we applied modern day technology. Like we used wax. We first used AutoCAD model, imported the AutoCAD model to a 3D printing. We used wax as a material, printed it, created a mold around it, heated the wax, getting evaporated, and then we poured gold. And the moment we took it out, we had this product in our hands. Okay, so that's how we are trying with the older methods, trying to put some modern day implications in it and trying to come up with a better outcomes. The outcome, what as of now, what we have seen is usually you'll pay around 12% of wastage for any jewelry outcome. But we have analyzed the wastage. It has come up to 4 to 4.5%. Okay, so that is the range of outcome what we see from the old day technology in the present day context using AutoCAD and other things. So this is one another example of Tantra Yukti applied using Madhuchishtivanam on a jewelry making. Psychological approach, there are a lot of understandings with thought patterns and thinking. Tantra Yukti will help you to understand this from the old text perspectives, ancient text perspectives also. People are coming up with psychological analysis. If you see, the modern day psychology is based on negative elements, maybe say murder, death, and something like crime and something like that on basis of money, crime, and so the psychology is being done. People who are in psychology department may add on to this point, but our ancient ancestors have come up with happiness, bliss, and something like this. On basis of that, they have evolved to a higher psychological understandings earlier. So that is the point. Pramanas and kathas. Uh, give me a second. Yeah, it was. I'm sorry, it was a very important call. Okay, we'll come back to Pramanas and Kathas. So, how exactly anyone comes up with such a huge observation and scientific aspects and finally end up with writing down a thesis? That is the point. Now, I told you already, knowledge is being acquired by observation and experimentation. That is what we call it as Pramanas. All the darshanas, what we have, 6 darshanas, what we have, all are based on Pramanas. Okay, so what they do is Pramanas, I'll just give you a fast explanation. I'll not go to discuss deep into it. So let us take 3 steps of it. Even Hetu, Shabda, all these will come. But still, Pratyaksha, Anumana, and Agama, and Shabda, something like this. So they will take 3 steps to quickly understand what they used to do. So that is observation and experimentation. What is Pratyaksha is to see personally. Anumana is what they predict and apply the methodology, and finally they'll twist and turn and everything, they'll test it over and they'll come up with an conclusion saying, say, like Agama and Shabda is conclusive statement. That's how the observations is being taken care of through experimentation. That is what is the Pramanas will help you to understand. Later, it did not stop over there. It went on with Katha. Katha is what we call as Vada, Jalpa, and Vitandavada, So, Vada is somewhere you have a discussion. Jalpa is you have peer reviews and the opposite person is highly educated and highly knowledgeable. He will question you so that you can enhance your knowledge more on the research what you did. And Vitandavada, you all know this. Everywhere it happens. If a person doesn't like you, he'll start bombarding nonsense questions at you. So these are the Katha parameters of 3, Vada, Jalpa, and Vitandavada. Now in that Katha, and now let us see correlation with the modern day research. Pramanas, you do the same thing. You will identify a problem. You'll start assuming what may happen because of the previous literature survey. And then that is what you write as a expected outcome. And then you start doing experimentation by twisting, turning, breaking everything. And finally, with the results, results and discussion, you come up with the conclusion saying this particular composition of a material or this particular methodology of a management, this solves this problem or this has given this outcome. So something like this, you will finally come up with a conclusion. But this is all the pramanas, but this does not stop here. What you do is you will go with publication, you will go with conferences, presentations. That is where Katha will come. So you're putting yourself into Vada and Jalpa, where peer review peoples are there. They will listen to you and come up. So it is hand in hand. You have done some research and your publication, you are publishing it in conference and publications. So that is how the 2 things happen. Now, once all this is happened, right, finally now the thesis construction will come. So because one part of it will happen and then you will continue with the second part of your research and you'll add on all the parts in one way and then present it in a thesis. That's how I hope people who have done doing PhD know this, or people who have done PhD, they all know this. They have already done all these processes. But only thing I'm trying to correlate with the Tantra Yukti, the ancient method of thesis writing, but it is very much applicable even now. That's the point. So why Tantra Yukti? What is Tantra Yukti? It's a textual construction devices that represents conventions of presentation, interpretation of technical tests. That's the main important thing. So major importance of Tantra Yukti came in Ayurvedic texts. Yeah. And later when you come forward with Arthashastra, that is the reason I took Arthashastra example earlier in the same slide, same presentation. So Arthashastra, Chanukya clearly explains the elements of Tantra Yukti and how to construct the thesis. So on base of Arthashastra, we are going to discuss the Tantra Yukti for the day. And yeah, the major thing is Jayaraman sir, Jayaraman Mahadevan sir, who is actually the revered researcher in Tantra Yukti. I have used his book. I have used his material to come up with this presentation actually. Okay. So holistic approach, the importance of Tantra Yukti, just as the sun opens the petals and lotus to bloom, just as a lamp lights up a house to illuminate the objects present, so Tantra Yukti enables the understanding of the concept. Because Tantra Yukti is a structured way of construction. It sets a universal code for it. So that's one definition from Charaka Samhita. As I told you already, majorly it started, the emphasis of Tantra Yukti started from Ayurvedic aspects, but later it widespread into all the categories because it was necessary for any researcher to present it, the research outcome finally for the welfare of society. So that's where Arthashastra or Chanukya has emphasized this Tantra Yukti as one particular book to explain. Okay. Historical sources of Tantra Yukti, the major is Arthashastra, Nyaya Sutra Bhashya, Charaka Samhita, Sushruta Samhita, Ashtanga Hridaya. So all these are the books. So all these are available in Rare Book Society and Internet Archives also. So people, Indian authors are there. So you can just type down over there, you will get Indian authors who have written it in Sanskrit and the translation in Hindi or Telugu or even in English also. You can try to scroll down to these books because these are not just the sources of Tantra Yukti, they are sources of their own discipline also. Okay, Sushruta Samhita, Charak Samhita, Ayurveda. So you can understand. So how best you can utilize. It's all multi-dimensional approach of Indian knowledge system. So this is one another information where you can try to fetch the books. It's freely available in Internet Archives and Rare Book Society of India. Okay. Now let us discuss about devices or the tools of Tantra Yukti. There are around 32 devices. Okay. So we'll start up with the first one, Adhikarana topic. Now you correlate with your thesis, what you did, or any other project and presentation, what you did, you will quickly try to understand. Adhikarana, we are talking about topic. These can form headings for section also. So topics, it has to be clearly explained and there should be no complicated words in it. So that is the meaning there. Why? Because it becomes a heading of the section also. So Vidhanam, statement of contents, listing out the topics. So this is another important thing. We also ask for list of contents, index, list of figures and other things. So that's the thing. So there is a Vidhanam. There should be an order for it. You cannot just simply skip out. Now, as in case if you understand, so you have introduction, literature survey, methodology, list, and something like this. So you have the similar understanding of statement of contents. You take any book also, you'll see the same Vidhanam, and which helps you to quickly scroll down to any topic whichever is quickly necessary for you. That's how the list of contents or the contents is very much important. Yoga, employment of statements to show the connections. So there should be a proper connection between each statement and each adhikarana. So it should not be episodically unconnected or something like this. So it is very important for us to, yoga is very much important to understand employment of statements. Padartha, meaning of the word. See, very much relevant to the present day also. You cannot just randomly put some new and complicated words and just build up your thesis and present it over because it's going to be widely applicable to the society and people. Many people would like to go through your book if they are interested in your subject. And naturally, they should understand your topic very easily. So, meaning of the word is very much important, which should be relevant to the context. Okay, so that is most important thing. Hetu Vartaha, the reasoning, the logical reasoning behind an issue is very important. Uddeshaha, you got to mention the explicit state of an issue. Suppose, say, recently when I'm doing, I'm a mechanical engineer, so I was doing just going through an aluminum component. So the logic, the reason was very simple. I wanted a more wear resistant material. Now, the moment I was discussing this, one of my friend who is already a researcher, he said, why you are selecting that material? I know it is wear resistant. Fine. But why? What is the purpose of selecting wear resistant material? Now, the mention of Uddesha, the purpose of selecting that material is very important. That is has to be mentioned. Like, for example, I told him finally, yeah, aluminum component, wear resistant, we'll use it in automobile. Okay, so I'm mentioning the Uddesha, the reason why I've selected that. Getting my point? And mentioning it. Reason I know, the logical reason is I want to use it for wear resistant. And Uddesha to what? To automobile industry. That is how the understandings are. See, we are using all these parameters of Tantra Yukti. Only one problem is we are learning in a modern day context. On the other contrary, of course, I told you already, Tantra Yukti is not just to build the thesis. It is also about going back to our ancestral knowledge, which is there in the manuscripts, with the idea, with the eyes of Tantra Yukti, so that you can quickly evolve to a proper solution for the question what you have, for the issue what you have, and give it back to the society again. Nirdeshaha, explanation. Upadeshaha, advice. So those are 8. Next, Apadeshaha, references. We need references to connect with one another. Okay. And Atideshaha, application. Pradeshaha, indication. Upamanam, analogy. See, that's how you actually have this implication, doubt, situation, contrary. Okay. Nirvachanam, derivation. Okay, so to interpret with the correct meaning, that's very important. As I was already telling you, when you're using a specific word, it has to have a proper, correct understanding to the subject what you are presenting. So Nirvachanam is very important. We'll try to elaborate these things, try to understand more in shortly. Okay. So likewise, illustration, exception, technical term, prima facie view. See, technical term, it depends on the kind of work you do. Okay. I cannot say if I'm a mechanical engineer, and if I'm reading out or writing out some economics book or economics material, I cannot say it boils down, because boils down is somewhere I'm talking about steam and melting point, boiling point. I cannot use boiling down word in economics. So there should be appropriate technical term for that particular category. Okay, that is very important to understand. Nowadays, because of whatever plagiarism has come, chat GPTs have come, they are giving you new words or interconnected words, very explicit and quite ununderstandable to anyone. So not understandable. So all these are some problems where we are facing because of this. But of course, you need to have a clear understanding of the communication system and literature where you can write properly as per the requirement of thesis construction. Okay. Next, completion of statement is necessary. Agreement, anumatam. So when you are writing down your material towards the conclusion point of thing, every paragraph, right from the starting to the last, it has to have the consistency of meaning which the reader should by psychologically come into agreement with your work. Before you could conclude, he has already agreed to your work. Yes, he has done something better. So that's what the importance of writing down thesis in terms of anumatam is important. So there should be a consistency in meaning, which elaborately takes the whole path of reading right from the starting to the end up to the conclusion. So these are the 32 restriction, option, combination, what is understood. So all these are the 32 devices of Tantra Yukti, which are very much important for writing down the thesis. Okay. So Nirvachanam, what we have seen already, that is this, the 20th device, Nirvachanam, which is derivation. So in Arthashastra, there is a definition for it. The process of connecting the word that has been merely mentioned with its meaning is Nirvachanam. So he's giving you the definition for what is Nirvachanam, how to frame it. Okay, so he has given some explanation here. So term Vyasana, so addiction, Vyasana, forms the title of the Vyasanadikaranam. Okay, so he's explaining you what is that Vyasana. Vyasana, the definition for it. That which deprives a person from his well-being is Vyasana. So addiction, he is giving an example, the definition for addiction in Arthashastra this way. So 8.2, chapter 8, second sloka. So that's how it is. Okay. So for fine tuning, you have more completing a sentence. Okay. So similar, samuchaya, collection of ideas. So these are all the few more additional fine tuning yuktis for. Okay. Benefits in defining the benefits are defining the basic structures of any work. Okay, then we have it also helps in stating theories and rules properly. So in fine-tuning diction and style of expression in the treatise. So these are the major benefits of Tantra Yukti. Doctrine of Tantra Yukti, there are three doctrines. One is Tantra Yukti, which we have slightly discussed with systematic manner. Next is Tantra Guna, the characteristics of the good treatise. So characteristics of good treatise is also very important. And then Tantra Dosha, the flaws that impair a systematic treatise. All three is very important because Tantra Guna, see, if there are some ideas where you will see such a book which is having a very good topic and some information, but if it is not characterized properly, the good treatise will no more be identified as good because there is no good connection, there is no good flow of a book. So all these are the ones what gunas and doshas will help you to understand the importance of writing down Tantra Yukti. Okay, so these are the three doctrines of Tantra Yukti, Tantra Guna, and Tantra Doshas. Gunas you have, so comprehensive in size and content. So it's very much necessary to see the size of it, content of it. Next is Yashasvi, by reputed and successful. So now if you are publishing, now you know in our colleges nowadays we are seeing Scoopus Index, correct? Science Direct. So there are some reputed and successful consultations where if your book is or if your publication is accepted there, it means your work is accepted to high level. So those are the characteristics of the Tantra Guna, characteristics of the work what you did. It shows reviewed by peers. Peer reviews are done in publication. See, you are able to see the similar understanding with the modern day context. Okay. Next, non-repetitive in content. So that's where plagiarism has come now. Okay. So that is the sixth one. Apagata Punaruktam. Okay. So that is the sixth one, which also says non-repetitive in content. So we are talking about plagiarism there. 2000 years and odd back in our history, already they are talking about plagiarism. Now we are applying plagiarism since for 5-6 years. See, think about our age-old knowledge, what we have in Indian knowledge system. So appropriate words, well evidenced, all these are the gunas. So we have totally 19 gunas. So there is something more, using easy words, rich in synonyms. Okay, so logical flow without mix. So all this Lakshanavat is endowed with definitions. Okay, so endowed with illustrations. See, you have all the informations as per the gunas. So naturally, the very first few papers when you turn over, you will put a list of abbreviations, list of contents, list of figures, tables, list of illustrations, list of graphs, everything you do. So all are here. Okay. So all the gunas will help you to understand how best the character should be of the treatise, which will make it widely applicable in society. That's the point. There are 15 doshas. You cannot, one of the very first dosha is unknown words. You cannot use just random and unknown words. It has to be defined. Systematic composition is necessary. Uh, and if there is no logical flow, that is another dosha. Words that are difficult to pronounce or write, and so that is also not acceptable. Internal contradiction. So there is another problem. So in one way you will say this is good. The other way the same thing will become wrong. So internal contradiction will come. Okay. So cryptic. It should be very easy to understand. It should not be cryptic. There should not be a doubtful meanings. Okay. Repetition should not go yeah, oftenly or eventually. Without authority, you cannot just publish without authority, or because if there is something like you don't have evidence and you are publishing, okay, something like this without purpose, you can't just randomly publish anything, any nonsense without any purpose. It has to serve a purpose for a society, because any knowledge system what we have come across in our Indian knowledge system is for the purpose of society only, for welfare of society only. So that's why there should be a purpose for any work. If it's not there, then it is a dosha. Then it should not be meaningless. It should not be non-sequential. So something like this. So finally, we have 15 doshas which actually project to avoid during writing thesis. Modern day relevance, I've already told you. Let me quickly glance it again. The knowledge of Tantra Yukti doctrine help in systematic understanding and understanding the structure and contents of ancient Indian texts. I was telling you earlier. Hardly 5% of the excavated manuscripts is being translated to the modern day language or modern day writing style. But rest are quite a difficult task. Manuscript readers are necessary. Even scientific approach is necessary. But Tantra Yukti is going to help you understand the structure, how to go forward and how to extract it, how to do something better for the society. Finally, translate it for a modern day application. Next, comparative study of text within the range of different subjects. So why comparative study is coming is because our Indian knowledge system has always emphasized on connecting multidimensionally. If I'm not wrong, if I'm talking about fire, as a metallurgy fellow, as a mechanical engineer, I'll talk fire as a divine force for mechanical engineering or metallurgy. The same thing for a IC engine fellow, he'll say thermal engineering. Same fire, if I'm talking about Ayurveda, he will tell Jataragni. Okay, Pittagni. So Jataragni will come. The same fire, if you go to home, it will become kitchen. So where the element metaphysically, it will go to Agni, Agneya Mula, and females are governing. The Vastu Shastra is getting connected. So the fire as a one element is getting connected to 5 to 6 different multi-dimensional knowledges. So it is not, I've just given you 4 or 5 examples, but there are many with respect to fire. That's how the doctrine of Tantra Yukti will help you to interconnect different subjects and try to come up with a better answer. So that's how it is. Next, it's like a guidebook for construction. Now, apart from it is helping you to understand the excavated information from manuscripts from our ancient knowledge, it is also going to help you to rewrite new things with the old basis or with the new modern day times in the same order of Tantra Yukti styles, which are closely related to the modern day relevance research methodology, and we can come up with a better outcome with respect to Indian knowledge system. That is a very first understanding. And I think I've come to end of the session. Hopefully, I try to make you understand all the parameters of Tantra Yukti. It's quite relevant for the modern day context. It's also quite relevant to understand the ancient knowledge, because I gave you an example of Madhu Uchishta Vidhanam, which I actually applied for the modern day context for a gold jewelry, which I've shown you a sample already. To be more precise here, they have explained in their times, with their relevance to their times. We have applied to the modern day relevance with the same methodology as I given you example of Madhu Chista Vidhanam only, by using AutoCAD and 3D printing of wax and then creating a mold around it. So something like this. So it is one of the most important framework for thesis construction, and hopefully I try to justify things for you, and I think I finished it well in advance. Anyone has questions too, can ask me. Well, for understanding, I've shown you already many number of books. These are the historical sources for Tantra Yukti. You can just take a screenshot of it. You can start analyzing things from Internet archives and even from Rare Book Society of India. Apart from these books, you can also try to download. It's all freely available. You can also try to download from those uh, centers or websites, any other books, whichever you are interested in Indian knowledge system, and start working on it. So Tantra Yukti has the most important mm, method to read back or go back to your ancestral knowledge and come up to the modern day relevance application for a welfare of society. That's it. I've done. I'm finished my presentation. Anyone has your questions to raise up? I can answer it to you.